Now we can hear everybody. Gonna put on some music. Wonderful. Wait, I'm just playing the Lathane soundtrack whenever I go live now. Okay, I'm in game. Gonna remove all this. Refresh chat. Why can I not see chat? There we go. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me on this after party, we can call it. We're gonna be walking around on the sets. Let me take off the shaders actually. And we're gonna just talk about the episode and talk a little bit with each other, and Elle, who was the voice of Aaron.
Hello.
And we have also Raf, who played Sladimir in Tribunal.
Hello.
We have Scuffle, who returned this chapter as Rebecca Lathane.
Hello, pleased to be here.
We got Pillow, who is one of our producers and writers. And we got Simon, who is a producer and is the creator of the Tribunal.
I'm sort of here.
Yes. Okay. So, while I set this up, Pillow, could you start it with the questions?
Okay. Sure. I'll just go right into it. Okay. Really hit me with that.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you, Cal? Like, what do you just go by Cal?
Yeah, sorry. So my username on Discord is Cal, but my actual name is Ellie. But you can call me L for short.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
since you're like the big guy of the episode, we'll start with you. You voice Aaron, who is the focus of this episode, being the rogue. You took over the spot. You took over this role from Connor after he played the character for multiple projects. So I think the first question we should ask you, with having you in this Q&A, is: did you do any research in Connor's performance before you took over the character, or did you just go in blind and just start from there?
I did have a couple of references sent to me by Jean to help sort of nail down the sort of vocal tone of the character, but I didn't want to delve too much into it because I felt like if I listened to too much of Connor's performance, then I'd become so engrossed in it that I'd just end up trying to copy it exactly, and that would kind of stop me from establishing a version of this character with my own unique voice that also pays homage to my predecessor within this role. Connor does an awesome performance of Aaron, and it was sad to hear about his leaving the role. But honestly, it's been so much fun to be playing this character who we get to explore more, particularly within this episode and within this particular series, within this established universe. And honestly, like, if I get to meet Connor someday, like, honestly, I'll virtually shake the man's hand out of respect for him and what he's done for the series and what he's done for the character of Aaron.
Awesome. Yeah.
I can arrange that.
Arrange the virtual handshake.
Yeah. and I'll make it into a machinima.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, you do give a lot of credit to how Connor did it, but I also think that the way you went with the character now, in your own way, was amazing as well.
So, piggybacking off of what Sophie just said, obviously there's a big time jump between Tribunal and this film now, being chronologically, like, these films are the newest things in the TSC world. Aaron is very different now than what he was in the Tribunal films and before that. Knowing what you know about the Aaron character prior to Tribunal and what you know about him now, the version that you're playing, what are some, like, key differences that you would say are about the character? Like, what are things that? How is he different now from when we saw him before?
Alex?
That's for you, Al.
Oh, that's for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah. So the differences between the character in the past and the character now, is that the question? Just check.
Yeah, like what are you bringing to the character as we see him in Volition that he maybe didn't have before?
Even more of a posh British accent. Yeah, no. What I want to bring to the character is I want to showcase his mindset, his emotional state of mind through the vocal tone of the voice. Like, as we see in this episode, he is becoming more aggressive. He has this sort of anger, this rage within him. It burns like this fueled fire of fury, and in a way it's sort of finding itself hard to contain, especially coming from a past of battle, of being this warrior in the shadow of others. So portraying that anger in particular, and how it shapes him, how it transforms him into something new, something more, is something that I really want to get across in my performance particular. Whether it be like the most exaggerated larynx breaking screams like the one we heard in episode 2, to even just the most subtle like grunts or like sneers within the vocal tone. Like in a world of acting and stuff like that, particularly voice acting, some people will think that it's all about the yelling, the screaming, and all about like just expressing it as loud as you can, like it's like you're projecting on a Greek amphitheater stage. But it's not really. It's not. It's just like any other form of acting. Like, it's about portraying a story, a character, in a way that stays true to them within their role within the larger story, but also keeping them human, so that our audience can relate to him and feel with him as he transforms throughout this narrative that we establish within the series.
That's a very good answer. I
think.
Yeah, I also wanted to add a little bit about the reason why he has become the way he is like the losses he felt in the tribunal. Like we could kind of see this transition of him in the moment in the tribunal when he stands over Sladimir saying, "And then we die." Like, so ready to just let everybody die as long as he gets to give out his rage towards Sladimir. And that is kind of what I felt like the moment he changed, at least. And then he had like 5 years living in the slums and shadows under the tribunal where they couldn't do much, and he's living with one person that used to be his enemy, and the other guy is somebody who betrayed or turned against his former lover who got killed in the tribunal. And he also lost his home, also, that he worked so hard to defend, which is all like the reason why he has become so ruthless.
Do you want me to keep asking the questions?
I mean, I thought it was nice when you did, so.
yeah, I can keep doing it. Well, guess who's next on the chopping block?
Scuffle.
Yes. No, it's you.
No, get them.
So, all right. We see the Earth Scar again in this film, something that we haven't seen in like over 5 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we haven't seen the Earth Scar since season 2 of the original TSC series. So, what's it like for you to film a scene in the original OG set, 5 years later, with all the advancements that we've had in like machinima making and all the the lessons that you've learned in filmmaking. Like, what's it like jumping into this thing that you did before and now you're realizing it in an even more complete form?
Well, we have kind of done little sneak reboot of moments in TSC throughout our projects. Like we did the Royal Gathering in the 8 again. We did, this now. And I believe we did another one too, I can't quite recall. But it's so nice to... First of all, like, I felt so nostalgic on so many levels. The fact that even Lathane feels nostalgic to me now is crazy. But, like, her seeing or doing a scene in the location again is fun. I love this battle scene or moment that happened. So getting to do it, give it more justice is nice. And also seeing the characters again, like seeing Boren, Abigail, Charlie and Lewis jumping off that tower again is nice. A slight retcon that, we did that in, what was it? The History of Landor. That we also did the Earth Scar there, where we put Jed in. That Lewis was fighting Jed actually at that moment. But
and I believe there's also a teaser in Lathane as well.
Yeah, we see them at the end credits. We see them like getting ready to do this battle. And hearing Ikanra back as Jed, the character who we thought would never die because he kept creeping up in every project. Seeing Phoenix back as Lars was so nice. It was such a shame that we only had him for Siege because he's real good. And then Chrissy Pixie for like Lydia, who died in Remnant. Yeah, that's why like it just nostalgia on so many layers, and I'm very happy how the scene turned out. Same with the flashback from Lathane when they're in Yaron, when we get to see Rebecca again, which is like which I almost hear on a daily basis, bring Rebecca back. Which sadly we're not gonna do, because like I feel like that moment is too good to change. And we have had our whole trilogy where she got her like defining moments in the Lathane film and all that kind of stuff. But it was honestly so much fun to sit in a voice call with Scuffle again and doing Rebecca lines. And there were like 3-4 lines or something. And
we did so many takes.
We sat there for like a half an hour or something, or maybe more.
I think so.
For those few lines, just because they're probably good enough, but we just wanted to make sure it's perfect. What?
Yeah, we never go for good, we go for great or perfect too.
Yes, exactly. That's our quote when we're working on productions.
Yeah, it's good, but is it great though? Maybe we should change something.
Yeah.
You can tell we spent a lot of sleepless nights on this project.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The voice actors are always working way harder than they really need to, because we push them to their limits, and I hope that they get something out of that, because it shows in the films.
I'd like to say we're pretty good with our voice actors, like making sure
we treat them well.
Yeah, they get to like basically decide the schedule. Oh well, we give like I tend to give like a rough idea when I want to do stuff, and then seeing if it's good with them. And of course, like as I'm noticing, especially now in December, it's like hard for voice actors to get stuff done. But I like to think we give them a unique experience that a lot of Machinima's projects don't get. It's like the read-throughs we do together, we create bonds, we let them in on the characters, like what you wanna change something or work, like especially those who are involved. Like for example, like Tarquin, who plays Leo, who basically wrote the whole like suicide scene in chapter 1. I remember he sent me that on our whole podcast after we finished the Tribunal. So there's a lot of influence, and I like to think we give voice actors a good experience. Isn't that right, Ali?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminder, I still need to send you my hospital bill for my larynx.
Yeah. No, don't you worry.
Yeah. Like I'll say this story. Like the amount of effort we put in, I can definitely attest to this. The amount of effort we put in is always 100% to make sure that we get the best performance that we can in order to tell this narrative accurately and in a way that is very impactful on our audience. Um, One of the ways that we do that is through, our fight and our effort sound effects. The kind of things that we record for our fight scenes to help create that immersive atmosphere within the scene. For the ending scene of episode 2, as Eren is having this flashback to the event with Becky, he just has this realization, and he vents his frustration into this big scream, this outburst, which leads to him chopping off the chain with the sword. I had to spend multiple tries trying to get the right scream, because I voice Eren with a bit of a deeper register voice than my normal one. So to try and replicate that in a screaming capacity was obviously quite a challenge. I managed to do it. My throat ended up feeling like if a towel got littered with grains of sandpaper,
Lovely.
which then got rubbed upon my tongue. But yeah, no, I'll admit, take me as like a story to always take care of your voice. We always want to make sure we push the limits whenever we can. Not to the point of thing. We always like to push them where we can. So this episode, I think, is a great example of that, especially with the voice acting talent on this team. It has been incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we appreciate voice actors be willing to do. So it's really great. It turned out so well.
Yeah, and Scuffle, you have also been in charge of the casting for a lot of this project. And
Official casting director.
yeah, look at you.
Yeah, I mean, I really like being on the other side for once, instead of being the one applying for a role, you get to roll out the auditions and then review them and things like that. And I think it's really wonderful to get to know new people and have lay new contacts as well. And that's also how we keep expanding and our team, and keep meeting new people. And I think it's really wonderful how you start out with these auditions, and then you kind of get to know each other a little bit. You start to do these script reads and the recording sessions, and that's also something that I really love that we do. That there's we always try to schedule people in the same scenes together and then do a live recording, because those types of live recording sessions can also really help you get into the moment. And if anything, I wouldn't say that anything really changes on the fly or anything, but you really get to feel the character in the scene.
I can say that I've noticed a difference between lines that are sent in, lines that are directed, and the scenes where voice actors have done it together.
Mm-hmm.
There's a slight difference, and I prefer the last one, because then they're actually talking to each other, and you can feel that in the scene. Of course, you can't always do that, and as I said, especially around December time, it's hard to do that. But if you can do it, I think it's one of the best alternatives. But of course, then you have some voice actors that are not comfortable with that, and they will perform better on their own. It's just a matter of getting to know them.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that we always give the option, I remember usually when we reach out to people at first, we kind of start talking to them in a little group chat, the three of us, Janneke, and then we invite them to the server. It's all also kind of to check in with, hey, are you okay with, joining the server? Are you okay with this and that? Just to really get also I guess, kind of boundaries straight. If somebody is really uncomfortable being in a live recording, I mean, I remember my first time I was very nervous as well, so I totally get it, but I always encourage it because it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Pillow, you got another one?
Well, Chelsea's in the chat right now. She has a question. I don't know if she would rather ask it herself or if she wants me to ask it.
Yeah.
You just, you don't mind? Okay.
I can get Chelsea to speak
Yeah,
if she wants.
She can ask her own question.
Okay, I'm gonna invite you.
Hello?
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, this is so insane. Hi, so my question is from a production, perspective.
Mhm.
How do you, or how does the production crew maintain such a professional atmosphere to make sure the process from starting the episode to getting it finished and edited goes so smoothly? Is there a certain way you do it?
Well, what I think is that over the years now we have kind of gotten to know each other. Everybody who is a producer, at least, have gotten to know each other so well that we know what to do, and
Yeah.
we have the set way of doing things. Like we know when we start the script or planning phase. We'll try to set up more meetings and talk about it, go over the plan. Then we go over the scripts. We read through them as producers together, as we would the script read-throughs with the cast later. And so the whole process is almost automated at this point for us.
Yeah.
And we have figured out who is the best at what. For example, I remember, I don't know if I'm calling you out now, Scuffle, or not, but there was a point during this production, I think, you were doubting yourself as a producer.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you that you give such a valuable insight to these projects when we're working on them. For example, Pillow, he's my lore guy. He knows everything that is how it's supposed to be, and he knows the dramatic stuff. And you know the audience perspective, and that is one of the most valuable things I can have on the team. So it's we're figuring these steps out, and Raf here, who has helped me write. He wrote The North, for example, my live action project, and so I know I can count on Raf at least for the script overviews and stuff like that. And Tanner Apple for they're machinima creators themselves, so I can go to them for help with the actual filming and stuff like that, and learning and evolving.
Not gonna lie, you had me a scripted run throughs.
Yeah. It's as Scuffle said earlier today, was that we don't aim for good, we aim for great, or something like that. If it's good, we'll try and make it better.
Yes, that's right. I also think, if I may also have a go at your question, I think, I know, how dare I, right? So, how to maintain a professional atmosphere, I also think it has something to do with the type of people that you work with. I mean, we also bond together as friends, but we're also a great team, because we know each other and we all kind of have our own little thing to do. So there's not really many questions of, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. Everybody kind of knows what they have to do. Personally, I did also offer to take up something like the uploading the casting call, things like that. We're all just really excited and passionate as well about the project. We're all involved. And we do those regular meetings as well. And we always talk together. There's no secrets or anything you can take a look at the script. No, we all kind of get a say as well. So I also think the openness really helps.
Is this mainly in terms of the production, or do you also allow say people that are voice acting within the series to look at it?
Well, so I'll hop in now. I'll just say great question, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean they touched on the production side of it pretty well, spot on. We all know what we're doing, so the production when it comes to the writing and the brainstorming and like the very very early production, we have a rhythm to it. Like we sort of know what we're doing at this point. But yeah, into like the voice acting part and like casting the voice actors and getting them involved in the project. I mean, just looking at our production crew tells you how involved we like to have our voice actors being. Like both
Yeah.
Scuffle and Raph started as voice actors in our projects, and that's all they were. They were cast as characters, and then over time of recurring characters in these bigger projects, we valued their input and their opinions on the character, and now they're on the production team because they.
I believe
because
Tanner
they
also was first only a voice actor.
I think so too.
Yeah, so pretty much all of our production team, but yeah, like everyone on our team really started at some point being like I've been around since the
Yeah.
beginning, but I started as just someone who was around to do like work as an extra and like the occasional like small line, and now like I'm here writing all this stuff. But like we really value the input from our cast. We love doing like the read-throughs whenever we can get cast together in one
Oh my
voice
God.
call, and just do like we just had our one for chapter 3, like the next chapter. We did that last week.
This is
And-
like one of my dream production experiences. I'm so sorry. Like this all sounds so good to be true. I know it's Bill, but
No, we try to be as professional as we can, knowing that what we do is like an amateur film thing. We try and do everything that we can to make it as professional as possible, because it like I think the quality speaks for itself. Like
I
we make
was gonna
we make really
say-
good stuff.
you call that amateur work?
Well, amateur when you're comparing it to actual like filmmaking.
Yeah, and also not paid work. This is
Yeah,
all
it's
free.
another part.
That's true.
I'll
Mhm.
volunteer.
like voluntaries? Volunteer.
Yes, all
You
is
do this
voluntary.
separately. I cannot say it that word. I cannot say it.
Well, I think we all take it as a very big compliment, so thank you.
Yes, it was very nice
like,
of you.
Like,
Yeah.
like this is absolutely insane. I may sound like an absolutely broken record, but one final thing that I would love to ask, in terms of voice acting stuff, will like future roles be available for like the series, like future projects and whatnot?
Not this one. Not Volition in particular, but we're currently working on the next big thing after the Tribunal storyline, which Tribunal storyline ends with chapter 5 of the Volition Chronicles. But then we're working on the next big thing, which casting
Ooh.
calls will come out for.
Yeah.
And I believe Scuffle is working on a casting call soon
That's
for
right.
something.
My only pain about is it when you mean casting call, do you mean like casting call club or anything like that, or auditions being that like a off track? Casting call club is the only thing that does not work for me. Like none of the files want to send. So if I were to audition from a future standpoint, would it be okay to just like send it in through like Discord or whatnot? Would that still count as an audition?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing to think about, and I think that's totally fine with me anyway. But I haven't thought about the fact that if it wouldn't work, then you might miss some really cool auditions that you would have loved to have. So I think I'll also think about a different way to apply other than just uploading to Casting Call.
That's a good idea.
Well, I'll also say that like whenever we upload a casting call, it's always posted like on our Discords. Like we make an effort to put it out there that we're looking for voice actors outside of just like someone stumbling on the casting call on the actual website. So like if you see a casting call that's up and you have problems with the files or whatever, I don't see why Scuffle or like any one of the producers would have an issue with just getting like a DM with the like a voice line or like an attempt or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
at
see why
least
that would be an
I
issue.
definitely don't have a problem with it, and I also find a lot of casting calls via Twitter sometimes, where people just apply with their reply with their demo reels to that post. So that could also be a possibility, or a straight up DM. So yeah.
Yeah, as long as you can
Yeah.
also like actually read the page on casting call, then you can get access to the lines and you can just record them and send them privately.
Oh yeah, I do have. I decided that. Apologies for that. I do have casting call club. Like I can obviously like access it by viewing stuff, but for some reason, you have to like submit files by like MP3 something like that.
Mm.
My PC doesn't allow me to do that for some reason.
Okay.
So that's probably. So yeah, if you ever like receive like an audition thing from me in the future per se, it would just be like one of those voice recorded things. I'm afraid.
Okay. Yeah. So, did you have any other questions?
None that I can think of. It's just kind of a very flattering feeling to just be up here in the first place. Even
Okay.
though I'm just kind of like a newbie.
That's okay. We're gonna continue with the rest of Pillow's questions then, and then if you get any other ones, just let us know and we'll bring you back, okay?
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much. It was so amazing to meet all of you.
It was really nice meeting you too, and thank you for your nice questions.
No problem.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Pillow.
Oh, yeah. So, jumping all the way back to my questions before, you kind of touched on it when I asked about the Earthscar thing. When it comes to revisiting old locations, but more specifically like old events in the story or things that we've already seen happen, but reviewing them with a different lens, with a different perspective. It's like we mentioned, it's happened a few times now in our newer projects. Is that something that when you're writing and doing the production stuff, is that something that you strive to do? Are you looking for these moments to put them in there, or are they just happening organically?
Well, the thing is that they have to have a relevance to the current story, and that's what the flashbacks in this chapter did. Because yes, it's nice to see the Earth Scar and it's nice to see the old characters and stuff like that, but it was all for the reason of getting a perspective on Eren, seeing like Lars served as a good moral compass for him, leading up to who he became in, for example, the Remnant. Like Lars was his guide in life, so to say. So to have him as a reoccurring voice in his head for this chapter was really necessary, I think, to kind of make him remember who he's supposed to be. And then seeing Jed and Rebecca there is like, yes, that's really cool to see. Like, a lot of people love Rebecca. I love Rebecca too. But the main purpose is also like to see this is who he can become. He can become Jed, he can become Rebecca, who were on those same tracks. Like, it was the main reason why we even put at the end of chapter 1, when we first see Eren, his walking away from burning somebody alive is exactly what Rebecca did back in the TVC series. So that was like a callback to that, but it's like serving to almost as a warning to him as a character.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter if it's cool and all the kind of stuff we revisited, it all served the purpose of him.
For sure. All right. Okay, Elle, I'm gonna ask you a question, and then I'll jump back to, because I know that Caddy has a question, but I'm gonna ask you this one first.
Okay.
Since you've been in the corner for a little bit, obviously with the ending of this chapter 2, we see Eren, piggybacking off of what Yannicka just said, we see Eren having this big sort of deciding moment for his character, where he chooses to free Stefan rather than killing him. How do you think that, has this decision changed the character at all? Like, when we see him in the future, do we think that he's going to be the same Eren that we were seeing in chapter 1 and 2? Or has something changed within him personally, and how are you thinking about performing that without spoiling it?
Well, I don't think you even know what's gonna happen next, do you?
I don't, but I can
Okay.
certainly make an educated
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Even better. I didn't realize you hadn't read it.
Yeah. No. Even though I haven't read ahead to what happens next, like, just experiencing this journey that Eren has within the episode, I feel the anger brewing and rising through each line of dialogue, all the way through from beginning to end. And as it climaxes at the end, releasing all this pain and hurt onto Stefan, he had this moment, realization, as he looks back on his time during the war under Becca's command with all the others, and he makes this decision to let him go. And what I think that shows is that it shows Eren to be conflicted, because he's got two voices in his head: the voice of the warrior, the voice of that little boy who fought with so much passion back in those days, which was reflected in those sort of actions that were replicate almost of Becky's. And there's also that side to him that also wants to listen to this man who's sort of been like a mentor figure to him, this sort of other voice in his head. It almost feels like a bit of an angel-demon conflict, almost.
Yes.
And seeing this conflict come to a head in the episode at its end, it sets off a precedent. It starts the foundation for this journey of great emotional and powerful change within Eren as the series progresses, which will not just affect him, who he becomes, what he does, but will also, I think, affect the other characters and a good portion of the world in such a way as a result. Because with this conflict, we can see two potential paths for Eren now from this point. And as the series progresses, audiences will be on edge as they follow Eren through this journey, worried yet curious as to whether or not he will walk towards the light side or whether he will fall and join the darkness. And I think that is what will make Eren such a compelling character to follow during this series, and such an impactful story to explore and visualize on screen as part of that narrative. And it's something that I'm really looking forward to portraying, to working on it, to bringing it to this incredible audience who has stayed with this connected universe for so long, and bringing it all to a head when we finish the series up in, I don't know how long, but when we finish the series up. Again, this is all like an educated guess, though.
That's a wonderful answer, though. Good job.
Like getting again example of the voice actors giving their say. I like hearing what you guys think of the characters because it helps us think about what the characters are going through. Okay, I think Caddy has a question. If we want to.
Okay, you ready, Caddy? Let's click the thingy, get the caddy. Invitation is sent. There you are. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm on stage.
Welcome to the stage. Do you have a question for any of us or
Yes.
all of us?
A bit of a, I guess, silly one compared to the others.
The silly ones are okay.
How come Leo always wins the lottery when it comes to getting kidnapped?
Well,
if
he's
you're not careful, he will be TSC's Princess Peach.
He is our Princess Peach at this point. Let's just be honest
Yeah.
here. He is. He's also not fighter, so to say. So that's kind of sets him up in those situations where he's around a lot of dangerous people. But he serves a different purpose than a lot of the other characters. He's our detective. He finds out about stuff. He is around. He affects the emotions of people. He affects Stefan. He you see how important Leo is to Diano even. Like, one of the most dangerous people in this world at the moment is worried about this person who's not even a fighter. So he has like that effect. But yeah, he is our Princess Peach, and we love him as one.
No, I mean, I didn't really get like the sense that Diana was worried about him.
Oh well, it's
Personally,
not worried as
I thought
him as a danger.
like, yeah, I got that feeling like Diana sees him as a threat,
Yeah,
like not something to be like emotionally attached to and worried to, like Stefan.
yeah, that's right. He doesn't like as he said in the episode, he doesn't like the hold Leo has on Stefan, because Diano has very specific things in mind for Stefan, and Leo can affect that.
Stefan's
Go ahead.
sorry.
I'll add on to that and say that Diano and Leo are going to be an interesting group going forward, seeing those two together, knowing that this episode ends with those two being with each other, and the implication there that Diano has sort of kidnapped Leo, as they like Dalton mentions in the sewers. So seeing it's interesting because Leo and Diano are both sort of like the thinking characters of our series. They're both very intelligent. They're not living in the moment. They're living 10 steps ahead. So now to see these two characters sort of go in and we're going to see sort of a battle of wits between these two, where it's not necessarily a matter of who's physically powerful, because obviously we know that Diano can physically overpower Leo, but can Leo get an edge mentally?
Oh, absolutely. If that was a battle of physical strengths, Leo would be flat like a pancake.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
All he needed to do in this chapter was to just move his trident slightly ahead of him, and he just went flying in the direction Diana wanted. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Leo is a gentle man in a dangerous world.
yes.
Also, something that Michelle mentioned before, like and you said your movies weren't as professional as like others, like things like stuff people do for money, and I'm just going to say your movies are better than what's playing in some of the cinemas. Like, don't sell yourself short.
What?
Just want
It's nice to hear. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Like, I wish my colleagues and I could be this professional on like our Heartlands RP server. Like, you're
Hey.
doing really well here.
It's just a matter of finding the right people, and I think I got very lucky with my crew. They're very wonderful people.
Oh, stop it.
Bunch of nerds.
Yeah, truly are, but lovely nerds.
We are.
Especially
indeed.
Pillow.
Yeah, especially me.
Did you have any other questions, Kelly?
I am one. Oh yeah, that was one. I didn't actually notice that the voice actor of Aaron left. Connor. What happened?
Okay, so he just needed to step away for like personal reasons, and also like he has a lot of his own stuff to work on. He's also a creator. He is currently working on. He's working with Slightly Insulting, and he's also doing stuff like he's doing a Superman film on his own channel, and a lot of school stuff. So it wasn't the right time for him to continue anymore. Even though we would love to have him like finish the role with these last chapters, but it's like whatever is best for him, and we got lucky to get Elle on our team for it, and I'm extremely happy because Elle has been doing a wonderful job as Aaron in these chapters, and it was kind of like a natural point too, seeing how Aaron had changed so much those 5 years, and Elle could play a different version of the same character naturally. So yeah, but Connor is good. Connor is working on his own project, which everybody should check out when it comes out. I've been talking a lot to him lately, so he's good.
That's good.
And this actually like points me to another interesting question.
Yeah.
When he comes back, what will happen to your new voice actor?
He's not coming back to Aaron.
Oh.
No, he's done.
I was so excited for a trial by combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I can set that up. Young Aaron versus old Aaron.
We lock them both in a room. We see who comes out.
We would have battled just making effort and pain grunts into our
Yeah.
microphone. Just a battle of the voice actors going like, I should attack with a large attack.
I want to see this now. I'm gonna go fetch Connor when it
guys,
comes.
fellas, you should be careful what those grunts would be used for.
Yeah, it's
I'm
That's
just
Stefan
gonna say
and Leo
that.
in this episode.
yeah, that's Stefan and Leo. Okay.
Here's the thing. Shame that we did not get any bare-chested Oscar in this episode.
Yeah. Oh well.
Honestly, we had those water bottles on standby, didn't we, ladies?
But
Absolutely.
that is a good segue. Okay. Do you have any other questions, Caddy? If not, we're gonna do the last questions.
One more.
Okay. Shoot.
Who the fuck told you about the leak of like shirtless Aaron or whatever? Like that was just entire clickbait.
Oh, that was Simon. So everybody can play Simon. And it was shirtless Oscar, but yes.
Yeah. During the pre-episode stream, one of the users watching on the YouTube stream was excellent excuse, which, as Jan says, is Simon. And they put in a post into the chat while you guys were playing King of the Hill, talking about a leak that there would be a scene where Oscar would be bare-chested.
The thing is, Simon could have leaked something too. He is a producer after all. But that was wrong for this chapter. But thank you so much for your questions, Caddy. We're gonna move on to the last final questions now. Thank you for coming.
Glad to be here.
Okay. Pillow. Do you got something exciting to tell us about the next coming chapters? Seeing you wrote chapter 3 and 4.
I did. So, chapter 3 and 4, we see the teaser for it at the end of this episode. We're
Where?
going to...
Let me go there. Let me just
Oh, he's going there.
teleport my being to Abelon.
So, we're going to a location that we haven't seen, I guess since the voice, but really, like, we haven't really seen Avalon a lot in a while. It's our desert kingdom, our southern kingdom in Landra. We've sort of been teasing at it since Tribunal when we saw Leo, and there was a flashback to it in this episode of Leo finding the schematics for a train. Now we're finally going to see this magical train that has been sort of teased for a while now. Obviously, with the way that the series has been going and with all the time skips we've been doing, the world has been evolving. Things are being invented. You know, even though these things are happening, there still is progress going on in the world. We're seeing trains being built and being used in Landra, and that's going to be a big deal when we see this next film and how that's going to end up being a big set piece.
So we're
I mean,
we're taking a little break from the Etheria storyline, we can call it, I guess.
Mhm.
And so the next 2 chapters will be the perspective of, should we say who it's about? I guess we kind of teased it at the end, so.
yeah, I think it's
No, yeah, go ahead.
Well, so these next 2 chapters are going to focus on Jacob and Olenna, the two, obviously Jacob being the former Ravager who was in Tribunal, Aaron's friend, and Olenna, the general, the ex-Londran general in Tribunal that we see Olenna and Jacob fight together at the Battle of Fort Charlesburg, where Diano defeats them in the big climax of the tribunal. So we're going to see those two characters. We're going to catch up with them in the same way that Chapter 1 sort of was a recap for what had happened in Osunder, what had happened in Etheria through Leo. Now we're going to see the Londran perspective. We're going to see what has happened to the world outside of Etheria since the tribunal have taken over. So we're gonna see lots of lore, lots of sort of explaining some loose ends and some like plot holes that have not been filled in yet about the nature of the tribunal's takeover and how the world is dealing with it. And we're gonna go right into seeing, back into the main story and seeing how everything is going to ultimately, hopefully, neatly converge into our big climax of Chapter 5. So Chapter 1 and 2 are their own little mini story happening in Etheria. Now we're going to see 3 and 4 being their own sort of condensed individual story happening in Landra, specifically in Avalon, as well as other kingdoms, which I won't spoil now.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say who, but we're gonna see some more old faces again that we haven't seen in a while. And there's gonna be a certain Oscar is gonna be part of it.
Maybe shirtless.
Maybe shirtless. You'll have to come and see.
Maybe not.
Oh my.
It's a good thing I haven't filmed it yet, so that I can make some changes. No.
30-minute shower scene.
Yes. Okay. Is there anything more you wanna? Actually, Pillar, how did you feel about Chapter 1 and 2 so far? How connected, let's say?
I'm connected?
Yeah, like those two together. How do you feel about them?
I think that they're. I don't know what I can really say about it. Like, I think that it's a good jumping off point.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing this, it obviously, looking at them as one story, chapters 1 and 2 as like one complete thing. It ends with like a pretty big cliffhanger with we see Leo being taken and we see, the gang, for lack of a better word, heading out back to Landra, out to Kalo. Yeah, I mean, it ends with a lot of questions, and I think that Chapter 5 is really going to be where like the climax happens, and all these questions are going to get answered, and everything's going to tied up in a neat little bow, and everyone will be happy, and it'll be great.
Wait, I remember when we were when I was showing you the edit, there was one scene that you said that you didn't think would work as well, but did.
Catherine?
Was it that Catherine and Stefan scene?
Yeah, I think the scene between Catherine and Stefan turned out fantastic, where we see, like you mentioned during the watch together, the scene of Stefan holding the trident in the tribunal armor in front of the Palace of Kalo, you said is like one of your favorite shots.
Yeah.
I think that whole flashback scene with Catherine sort of talking about her internal struggles with the tribunal and being sort of candid with Stefan, I think that scene was something that when I read it on the script, I kind of just glossed it over, and now looking back on it being filmed, I think it's one of the most important scenes in the whole episode.
Yeah, that shot, it's not the flashback, it's the vision of a potential future for Stefan. It makes me feel something, and that's why I love it so much, because it gave me this like sense of dread, almost like this is who Stefan can become, and that's once I saw it, it just meant something to me. So I'm glad we got that shot in there, because it wasn't in the script.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Alva, for joining us. I'm so glad we could get you here today for Aaron's episode. And you've been answering your questions wonderfully too. Like, I'm amazed by some of your answers. and it's been so much, really so much fun to get to know you and work with you, and I'm excited for us to do more. Yeah, and
Like, honestly, I'm very, very excited for this journey, and like, I am disappointed to hear that Connor wasn't able to see the character through to the end, like I will. But hopefully, I will be able to, pull this character through for the both of us, and in a way that can like we can both experience this character together, so that this character can somewhat embody both of our performances in a way that can be immortalized forever with this shared connected universe.
I think you're gonna take this role home. Let's say you're already doing wonders with the character, and once we get to the end, I think it will be a nice little flower on top. I think once, for all what Connor has done and what you have done. As I said, like the transition was really good. I think the best outcome we could have gotten, and as I've been saying, you have done a wonderful job. Also thank you, Scuffle. It was so nice having you back as Rebecca again, which was
Yes, I enjoyed it too.
which is a special. Like Rebecca means a lot to me. I believe she means a lot to you too, and
Yeah, she does.
I'm not kidding when I almost hear her on a daily basis to bring her back. That just says a lot about the impact you had on that character.
Oh, thank you.
And I think
More chapters.
yeah, we need more flashback movies of Rebecca, I guess. But yeah, and we need to end it off. We've been going on for 1.5 hours now with just the Q&A. So thank you everyone who came out for the minigames, the film, and the Q&A. And thank you for our 2 lovely questionnaires. And we'll see you guys on chapter 3, which I hope I'll be done with early January or late January. It will be one or the other, I believe. Because I'm going to work hard on that now. And Pillow didn't make it easy for me with these scripts, but I'm going to try my very best.
That just means it's going to be good.
Yes.
No, great.
Yeah, it's going to be great.